Jai Guruji, Jai Sangat Ji. Today I will be reading a series of satsang of Lalit Mathur from the book Light of Divinity, Seen with the Eyes of Faith. My obeisance to the lotus feet of Sri Guruji. I wish to express my deep reverence and gratitude to Guruji for all the wonders that he has wrought in our lives. We are truly blessed, for we have been taken into Guruji's fold. He is God incarnate, an embodiment of Lord Shiva, and at the same time an extremely human, approachable, understanding, supreme power who guides you to the right path, urging you to rise above ritualism and orthodoxy. He has given a different meaning to our lives, our interpretation of religion, faith. Everything has been simplified beyond measure. Blessed was the day when we first came into Guruji's Sharan. The first time my father had been to him, he had asked for us. He knew where my husband was posted and that our daughter Aditi had a problem, the rubella syndrome. This was in April of 1995. I was delighted. I had contracted German measles in my first trimester. Consequently, Aditi was born with multiple problems that resulted in visual impairment because of congenital cataract, microphthalmos, microcornea, nystagmus, and glaucoma. During her first 2 years, she underwent 5 eye surgeries, 3 for removal of the cataract, 2 because of the glaucoma. In spite of all these interventions, her gross vision improved only slightly. All the time, the doctor at AIMS painted a very bleak picture. Since her retina had been damaged, they felt there was little hope she would regain vision to a large extent. Besides her gross visual anomalies, her PDA, her duct outside the heart, had not closed. That was corrected surgically in her 3rd year. All her developmental milestones had been delayed. After much physiotherapy, she started walking at 3, and we began sending her to school. Physiological testing had shown her IQ to be between 70 and 79. The psychologist concluded she had to be put under the care of special educators in a slow learner section. Things changed dramatically after we came under Guruji's protection. Aditi was then 12 years old and still at the special section of Sadhu Vaswani school. After receiving Guruji's Adesh, his word or command, through my father, we promptly went to the mandir at Greater Kailash, New Delhi. It was a novel experience. We had never seen such a flashy, flamboyant guru. Guruji kept asking us to come back on specific days. On our 5th visit, he asked Aditi to start doing Surya Namaskar early in the mornings and have a glass of milk mixed with peanuts and mishri that he had specially blessed. She was to follow the instructions for 51 days. On the 21st day, she said she could see better. We were ecstatic. You cannot imagine what joy and comfort this provided to our anguished souls. Soon Guruji left for Chandigarh, where he remained for the next 3 years. Twice we went to ask him to do something more for our daughter. He told us that he would do so after he returned to Delhi. On the Baisakhi day in 1998, I was thrilled beyond measure. Guruji was on the phone. He asked us to come to the mandir at Sultanpur. Empire Estate is in this locality, in the evening. Thereafter, I started urging him to do something more for Aditi. He did, in his own fashion. Guruji first came to our home in June 1998. The very next morning, we were excited to no end. Aditi could overnight read fine newspaper print. She could read her class 10 textbooks with their abominable small print, which only a week ago she could not read. If this is not divine intervention, what is this? This miracle could have been wrought only by God himself. Since then, there was no turning back. All of Aditi's biological parameters have picked up. She cleared her class 10 and class 12 in the first division and also in her first year of BA in social work. She is now continuing her graduate studies. We could not have imagined 13 years ago that she'd achieve all this. With Guruji's divine blessings, Aditi has come a long way. Not only has her vision, both distant and close, picked up, but her learning power has also increased tremendously. There is frequent improvement in her vision. At one eye test last year in 2007, we found she could read one more line in the eye testing chart. Aditi is now a confident youngster with supreme faith in Guruji. All this has meant a lot to us. From constant worry, anguish and brooding about her future, I have shed all my fears. And now convinced that he will take care of her, I am now more at peace with the world and have stopped asking, why me? Why with my first child? Guruji has not only changed our lives, but also given us the courage and strength to face problems more bravely. Faith in him has led us to trust that he is looking after our affairs and nothing can go wrong. Cheating death thrice. Guruji's blessings have extended to the rest of the family also. He has saved my husband's life thrice from fatal mishaps. Once in a head-on collision with an Ashok Leyland truck, which left his taxi so battered that those who saw it presumed that the passengers inside must have been killed. Moments before that accident, he had dozed off, yet came out unscathed with only a chipped tooth and a couple of stitches near his eyebrow and upper chin. Interestingly though, he had offered Jal an elaborate puja at a Shiv Mandir in Warangal before starting on his tour, something which he normally does not do, especially on official tours. But then, don't we say, Guruji is Shivji? Then on 13 December 2001, when terrorists attacked Parliament House, my husband was the last one to get in safely, in the nick of time. Seconds later, after he entered the building, shots rang out, and the guard who had ushered him in was shot dead. Guruji was surely looking after my husband. The third narrow encounter was when a leopard on the Srinagar golf course. With a leopard on the Srinagar golf course. My husband had foolishly decided to take a walk after dark. Around a bend, he thought he saw a dog just a few feet away. Surprised, he wondered how a dog could have gotten inside the heavily guarded golf course. Suddenly, the animal seemed to take a keen interest in him and advanced towards him. To his horror, he realized that it was a full-grown leopard swishing its tail. He was rooted to the spot. Unbelievably, he merely shooed it away and the leopard obeyed. Inexplicably, the leopard did not follow my husband when he tried to walk away. Another sure case of Guruji's intervention. Guruji has guarded not only his life, but his career too. It was only because of his blessings that my husband got his promotion and postings. In spite of an impeccable record, the odds were against him. But for Guruji, he would not have been empaneled as secretary or got a prestigious posting in Srinagar before coming back to Delhi. In 1997, my son, who was riding alone on a motorbike without a helmet, was knocked down by a speeding car. Anything could have happened, from a whiplash injury to the paralytic fear of Christopher Reeves or worse. Miraculously, he had no major injury. Guruji had come to our rescue. When my son was fit enough, he went to Guruji, who told him he had given him a new life. Betel leaves cure bronchial spasms. I have also not been excluded from his blessings. For 20 years, I had suffered from asthmatic attacks and was often put on steroids. I was always asking Guruji to bless my children, but never mentioned my problem. 3 years ago, I suddenly realized that the acute bronchial spasms had disappeared. Guruji told me that he had taken me off steroids, which is true, because I have not needed them ever since. Also, for 3 consecutive summers, I would get low-grade fever. which persisted for 6 months and left me drained. The blood test showed a high count indicative of either cancer or TB. Doctors suggested all kinds of tests. My husband mentioned the health problem to Guruji, who asked me to put betel leaves that he had blessed on my head every night and sleep. Within days, my fever disappeared, never to recur. Dream darshans. I can go on endlessly about Guruji's blessings on the family. He has cured both my parents of cancer. My father had gone to him in 1995 after his cancer surgery. In his case, cancer has not occurred. While there have been several unfortunate cases in the family, my mother did not require chemotherapy after her surgery, during which she recalls she felt Guruji holding her hand throughout. During the darshan, Guruji had even given her a pink and gold sari to wear. Guruji has often given us darshan through our dreams. Once my son Asutosh dreamt that when we were visiting him, Guruji had asked us to come along to Bade Mandir. But when Guruji did not come, we had instead come home. Guruji rang up Asutosh on his mobile and asked him why we had not gone to the mandir. Then he told him that he would show him something. What followed was divine darshan. He saw a huge figure in our lawns moving away from him. Wondering who it was, he saw the jat, matted locks, and Trishul, trident of Shivji. The figure turned towards him. Shivji transformed into Hanumanji and then into Ganeshji. Our son is truly blessed. I cannot express my deep gratitude and in-depthness for what Guruji has done for us. He took on from the point where the medical world had proved that there was nothing more that there could have been done for Aditi. That her vision became better thereafter cannot be interpreted as anything less than his divine intervention. Words cannot express the greatness of Guruji. He has transformed our lives, empowered and rejuvenated us with his faith, made us more tolerant of people around us, taught us to accept circumstances, and given us courage and strength to face life. He gives in abundance and asks for little in return, only complete, unquestioning faith. Our lives have acquired a different meaning. He has given us lots of hope and the grit and capacity to move on. He helped us evolve into better human beings. I truly believe he is the living incarnation of the supreme power. Call him what you will, Shivji, Krishnji, or Guru Nanak Ji, all rolled into one. All these miracles in our life could only have been the work of the ultimate divine power. I beg to be allowed to remain in his sharan forever. Blessed are those devotees who selflessly serve him. In my family, all those who come under his umbrella are treated alike. He teaches you true humility by sharing your experiences, your joys and sorrows, just as a family would do, a true microcosm within the macrocosm. There is so much of Guruji that is still left unsaid. From his imitable style of putting me down in my place with "Manga na kar, don't ask," or "Yun hi turdi firdi hai, pandita de kol," you just keep going to pandits for no rhyme or reason, to his enigmatic divine smile, or his tangible, palpable presence in the house, experienced through a whiff of his fragrance, or the ohms that suddenly appeared on his forehead in a couple of his calendars we had in the house, and by hundreds on the floors, so much so that we did not know where to put our feet. When I narrated this to him, he said, "Dekhti chal, see what happens next." Once the water in the copper tumbler, blessed by him, tasted of the amrit, divine nectar he had given us earlier. The best thing about Guruji is that he is so approachable. There has never been a time when we have been sick with worry that he has not turned his attention towards us and relieved us of it. It makes me conclude that there is no need to even voice one's apprehensions. May we be allowed to remain in his care forever. Jai Guruji, Jai Sangat Ji.